The peaceful cornfields of Iowa witnessed the tragic end of a 20-year-old college student. Here is the story of Mollie Tibbetts' disappearance and discovery, which plunged America into mourning. Brooklyn's silence broken. Where is Mollie? July 18, 2018. Brooklyn, Iowa, was calm and peaceful in the summer heat. As the cornfields danced in the wind, the residents of this small town were experiencing a typical summer evening. 20-year-old Mollie Cecilia Tibbetts was one of them. She was preparing for her sophomore year at the University of Iowa. She was a runner. Sports were a significant part of her life. That evening, as usual, she left her boyfriend's house for a run. She was seen for the last time under the glow of sunset. At that moment, no one realized that the darkest chapter of this young woman's story had begun. Mollie was never heard from again. When she didn't show up for work the next day, her family and friends became worried. Their calls went unanswered. There was no activity on her social media accounts. Panic spread quickly. Mollie's family reported her missing, and the peace of the small town was instantly shattered. The search quickly escalated into a massive operation involving local police, the FBI, and hundreds of volunteers. The streets of Brooklyn were filled with people searching for the missing young woman. The first days were filled with hope. Perhaps she had gone somewhere. Perhaps her phone had broken. Perhaps she had stayed with friends. But with each passing hour, each passing day, that hope faded a little more. Family and friends made repeated appeals to the press to find Mollie. Her father, Rob Tibbetts, pleaded before television cameras for his daughter's safe return home. These heartfelt pleas captured the nation's attention, and Mollie's story became a national issue. A nightmarish, month-long wait, every clue a disappointment. The investigation evolved into much more than just a missing person search. Detectives examined all of Mollie's digital footprints, phone records, social media messages, and even data from Mollie's active Fitbit activity bracelet were meticulously analyzed. They searched every corner, under every tree, and by the water's edge for Mollie. Locals formed volunteer search teams. Fields, forests, abandoned houses, everywhere Mollie had been, were scoured. But the result was always the same: no trace. During this process, police received over 2,300 tips and interviewed over 500 people. Every lead was meticulously evaluated. Police even went to the area in Missouri after receiving a report of a person resembling Mollie. But this information proved false. Hopes were dashed once again. As the search operation continued, the reward for finding Mollie rose to $366,000, the highest reward ever raised in the area's history. The money was raised by Mollie's family and local crime tipsters. Everyone wanted this young woman to be found quickly and this nightmare to end. But with each passing day, the feeling that something terrible had happened to Mollie grew stronger. This month-long period was an indescribable agony for Mollie's family. Each day brought new despair. Tears, sleepless nights, and constant anxiety had turned the family's life into a nightmare. The entire country waited with bated breath for news of Mollie. Journalists had their sights set on Brooklyn, reporting every new development as it unfolded. Social media platforms were awash with the hashtags #VinMollie. Everyone was trying to share in this pain, even from afar. If you've watched this far and enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and like it. Smash that button, man. Let's get on with the video. A nightmare in the cornfields, a confession and a painful truth. Towards the end of August, the investigation finally reached a turning point. Police focused on security camera footage from the area where Mollie was jogging. The footage showed a vehicle slowly driving behind the young woman, then turning around and heading back in Mollie's direction. The owner of this car was identified as 24-year-old Christian Bahena Rivera, who worked on a farm in the area. When police interrogated the suspect, Rivera initially claimed his innocence. However, under the pressure of the interrogation and the evidence the police had, everything unraveled. Rivera recounted the terrifying evening in vivid detail. He said he saw Mollie running, followed her in his car, and approached her. Mollie, believing she was trying to harass him, had yelled at him, "Leave me alone," and threatened to call the police. Rivera admitted to panicking and attacking Mollie. After attacking her repeatedly with a knife, he placed the young woman's lifeless body in the trunk of his car and drove her to a deserted cornfield in the area, where he hid her. This confession marked the painful end of the entire search operation. On August 21, 2018, Rivera led police to that cornfield in Poweshiek County. In that quiet, isolated spot amidst hundreds of acres, Mollie's lifeless body was found. Her identity was officially confirmed 2 days later by an autopsy. The cause of Mollie's death was determined to be multiple sharp injuries. This news plunged the entire nation into grief. The hope that had lingered for that month gave way to profound grief and pain. Brooklyn had become a murder scene, political storm, and the family's dignified stand. The identity of Mollie's killer instantly thrust the case into the center of a political debate. It was revealed that Christian Bahena Rivera had entered the United States illegally from Mexico and was working on a farm. This situation was used as an argument by then-President Donald Trump and many Republican politicians to call for tougher immigration policies. Trump, in his statements, cited Mollie's death as an example to demonstrate the necessity of a wall on the Mexican border and stricter immigration laws. However, this political storm was met with a dignified stance by Mollie's father, Mollie Tibbetts. He called the exploitation of his daughter's death for political purposes heartless and despicable. He countered this rhetoric by saying, "The Hispanic community is from Iowa. They have the same values as Iowans. In my opinion, Iowans have better nutrition." Tibbetts condemned the use of his daughter's name to promote racist and hateful views that contradict his own values. These statements conveyed a message of humanity and tolerance, even amidst the family's grief. Mollie's father was determined to preserve his daughter's spirit of love, kindness, and positivity. He argued that this tragedy should unite the community, not divide it. The family's stance was met with admiration by many. For them, Mollie's memory became a symbol of love over hate, tolerance over discrimination. Justice and outcome. Christian Bahena Rivera was arrested on August 22, 2018, for first-degree murder. The trial was delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic and various legal processes. In the hearings, which finally began on May 17, 2021, the prosecution presented Rivera's confession and other evidence related to the murder. Rivera's attorneys claimed the confession was obtained under police duress, but these claims were rejected by the court. On May 28, 2021, the jury found Christian Bahena Rivera guilty of first-degree murder. Because Iowa does not have the death penalty, Rivera faced life in prison without the possibility of parole. On August 30, 2021, the court sentenced Rivera to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Justice had been served for Mollie Tibbetts, but it did not bring the young woman back. Rivera is currently serving her sentence at the Iowa State Penitentiary in Fort Madison. Mollie's legacy, it sparked a movement. Mollie's tragic death touched the lives of many. Many female runners began running in her memory, using the hashtag #MilesForMollie. This hashtag has become a movement to raise awareness of the harassment and safety issues women face in sports. Mollie's friends, however, created an online group called Mollie Movement to keep her memory alive. The movement's goal is to encourage people to be kinder and more understanding towards one another. Reflecting Mollie's vibrant and positive personality, the movement garnered significant attention on social media. At her funeral, family and friends honored her by remembering her joy of life and her desire to help others. While preserving his daughter's memory, Mollie's father chose to respect and honor all people. This became the most important part of Mollie's life and legacy. Mollie's story shows us not only a loss of life, but also what a community can achieve when it comes together, and how it can remain humane even in the most difficult of times. Mollie's tragic end has become a symbol of the power of love and the resistance to hatred. What are your thoughts on this tragic event? Don't forget to share your comments with us. Also, don't forget to subscribe and like the channel. We hope to see you in another video. Take care, goodbye.